Hello and welcome to a long overdue, exciting episode of Token Games Podcast. I'm your host and sometimes referee, Zach Slat Pearson, and today I'm joined by the up-and-coming Vice Mayor of Midgard, the tallest man to ever make it out of the lower plates, a one Crispy Freeman Jr.
What is going on? I forgot to hit my button to talk.
Some things never change. That's why we love them. Alright, and surprising absolutely everyone, you know the 0.3 people that listen to these things, for the first time ever after 200 plus-ish podcasts, I'm not going to read the topic 6 times, so go ahead and have fun with it, free man.
Sure thing. Topic 1. A new era in Star Wars has been discovered. It is the high era set hundreds of years before the movies. Do you think the stories and original characters will fare better in this written series than the most recent movies? Topic 2. Tesla now has a game app hub built into its cars. Is this a good idea? What can even come of having apps that are games based in a Tesla? Topic 3. PS5 controller is revealed. We're not talking about its abilities, how much you think that thing is going to cost. Topic 4. Final Fantasy VII. Love it or hate it, and why? Topic 5. Sexism in gaming is rarely acknowledged or even seen as a negative aspect of gaming culture. Do we know why? I'm not asking you to solve the unsolvable, but try and reason how we got here. Topic 6. Secondary media or transmedia is a term used to describe when a work of media art is inserted into another format. However, is there a path best or best secondary platform for properties to go to?
Okay. Alright, now, I'm gonna go ahead and just say real quick that if I don't say anything when you ask a question, it's because I dipped off to the bathroom, but I will be back. But go ahead and, answer those topics however you feel.
Oh, I was going to say, you can go first.
I never go first.
I know.
You gotta speak, bruh.
I'm thinking. It depends on who's writing these movies. Oh wait, written series? I'm so confused. I think it depends on who's writing it. If you get a good writer, then I think everything will turn out fine. Have it be consistent. Have the same people writing it. Don't have what happened with the most recent trilogy, where it's been handed off to other people, and then you hand it back to the guy who started it. Just have it be consistent, and I think everything will fare off better. Topic 2. I guess it's not a bad idea to, have a game app hub built in cars. You're not driving and playing the games at the same time. The car won't let you do that. So I guess if you want to kill your battery, you can go ahead and do that. Topic 3. I think that controller is going to cost like $70. The new Nintendo Pro controller stuff was like $80. I can see this controller being like $70. Topic 4, Final Fantasy VII. I love this game. I don't want to spoil it, but the combat is so much fun. Aerial combat's a problem, but everything the game was trying to do, I think it destroyed. Like, it killed it. It is such a good game. Love or hate the ending will depend on the person. I loved it, and I'm super excited for the future of this series.
And I'm back.
Topic 5.
Did you say topic 5 and then forget to hit the mic button?
No, I'm thinking.
By the way, is there a way to turn off the little beeping noise for when you're about to record for Discord? Is that like in the settings, or am I just not paying attention?
You have headphones on?
No, like when you press a button and then it goes
Yeah,
beep.
no, it does that. Boop.
Yeah. Is there a way to turn that off, or is that just like a thing?
I could have sworn I've seen it somewhere in the settings.
Me too. Well, we'll put his pin in that, but keep going.
Yeah, I would check the notification settings. Topic 5. I'm still thinking about it. 1 second. I don't know how we got here. A lot of old storytelling kind of started out like this, didn't it? Would you say that like the idea of like damsels and like would you connect this to like damsels and like distress like that? That's what this is, right? I'm gonna sound I'm gonna sound totally wrong.
Yes, you are, but we love you anyway. Sexism is anything that is derogatory and stereotypical of any particular sex. However, in video gaming, it primarily leans towards, women.
Yeah, I don't know how we got here.
Fuck, I don't really think I would be more surprised if you did. So it's not like, anyone's gonna hold that against you. You are barely half the age of the entire gaming industry. So to be fair, the guy who comes in the middle is not always gonna know what happened in the beginning.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I wouldn't know. Topic 6. Give me a second. Can I think about?
Yeah, take your time.
I like to consume my media visually. Like, I like to watch things. So if I can watch it in a visual format, that's how I would prefer the properties to go to. Is that correct? Would you say that answers the question?
Yes. Also, I found it. It's in notifications. It's the PTT sounds. You can deactivate them and it turns off the beep when you press the button on let it go.
Thank you. Good to know. Yeah, anything visually, TV, movie, I would prefer. I mean, that's my preference, and I think that's the way to go, per se. I mean, audiobooks work. Secondarily, like maybe third, like I would. If we're starting from a written format and then we're deciding where it's going to go next, I would prefer a visual.
Total millennial. Not saying that in an insulting way, but to be fair, 90% of the time people bring that shit up, it's usually negative. So I feel like I should clarify.
Are millennials anybody born before like 1990?
The only general consensus that people have with millennials, because depending on the nation, the whole concept changes, is that millennials in particular start at 1999 or 1998 and they end at like 2000, I think 10 or 2000. They end at 2010. So if you were born in the 2000s, you're practically a millennial. If you were born a year before the 2000s, you're a millennial. However, no one seems to know where Generation Y fits into that shit. Or is Generation Y also the millennial? It's a weird situation. some people say, or some groups and organizations claim I'm a millennial. And I'm not inclined to disagree with that, but I was born literally at the end of Generation X. So every Generation Xer is older than me, but I'm also older than pretty much every millennial. So where the fuck do I fit in?
I guess we need more terms.
No, we need a consensus. We need a specific guideline and template, and that's the problem. We don't have one. Time Magazine has been doing millennial research and shit, but their millennial data doesn't even match up with shit in other English-speaking countries sometimes. They'll say, like, Generation X started in this specific time frame, but then Britain will say it was 3 years before it or 3 years behind it. But the problem is that there is no set guideline to what determines when a generation begins and ends. Eras make more sense because you can do centuries with that. 18th century era, 19th century era, you know, shit like that. Everything before the 20s was the silent generation because we had no way of tracking or truly archiving what was extremely popular to the masses. But everything after that we can. Roaring 20s, rolling 30s, or rolling 40s, I don't know. So the initial impression used to be every 10 years started a new generation. But even if that's the case, again, I'm born literally at the end of Generation X decade. So where am I supposed to fit in? That being said, watching both Generation X and millennials is a very fascinating thing because both of them have their issues, but they can't seem to understand that they cause each other's issues. Literally cause each other's issues. And instead of working shit out, they just want to blame another generation. But motherfucker, who raised them? If your child lived in front of a television screen in a video game system and then they magically wake up 20, want to kill themselves, have anxiety, and scared to talk to women, even though they've never done anything inherently wrong to a woman and shit like that. And then you say, well, his whole generation is just like that. They're just them. It's like, motherfucker, you raised them. What they got access to is because you gave them access to. What they don't know is because they weren't told. What they learn is because they were told or they learned the hard way. But, you know, when I say it to them, nothing's ever their fault.
They're perfect.
Yeah, like I don't know where the fuck I fit in that generational shit. I just know I'm not taking stupid shit off of either side. Dude, you should have been there the day some dumbass, I wasn't even in the conversation, some dumbass in the middle of a convention said, old people shouldn't come to conventions.
That's dumb.
That's a millennial. No other generation has even thought of saying some shit like that. Can you imagine someone said that at Star Wars? Bitch, if you were one when Star Wars came out, you would be older than me, and I'm a middle-aged man. The fuck? Rant over. Alright, so I guess it's my turn. Well, I guess rant continued. No, rant remake. Yeah, you should find that TPP stuff in notifications though. Oh my god, it's a life send. But you gotta make sure you're looking at the screen to see if the green ring is there at a bare minimum. Alright, so this is how I feel about the new era of Star Wars. And let me pull the mic in a lot closer to me, because it was over like 3 feet away. Okay. I do think the content will fare better. And here's why. Because it leads into something I brought up a long time ago and has been rumored to be happening within Disney since forever. Okay. Disney wants Kathleen Kennedy gone, but she won't take her severance package. So, as I've mentioned a couple times before, it looks like they're changing the structural system of their administration on the administrative level. What that means is they're changing how the departments function, but they still do the same stuff. So instead of having the Star Wars department, there's going to be Bob Iger doing whatever he's doing, still being in charge, still being ahead of things, but everybody is now, instead of being president of, you know, fucking Star Wars department, Marvel's department, blah, blah, blah. They're doing some other type of format that depowers her. and the other ones. But here's the thing. No one is supposed to be getting removed but her. Okay? So, here's the thing. If they do this, they can kick her out without her even getting a severance package. Mind you, her severance package is staggering. The rumor is somewhere around the network of 17 million or 70 million. You know how it is with certain numbers when it comes to not being written down. It could be 17 million or it could be 70, but given the fact that her natural income is stupid high, you know, it could be closer to 70 million. But this is where Disney wins out, because once they finish this department restructuring, if they fire her or give her the boot, they get to keep that 17 or 70 million. Now what's going to happen is this High Era is her last ditch effort to try to win some favorability with the fan base, which she thinks may secure her job. But I think it's long gone, because once you tell Disney no, they don't give a shit about you. And she told Disney no. Also, if she creates this stuff, which supposedly she was working on for years at a time, here's the thing. She's still not going to get no money off of it. Disney will take it, possibly not even change anybody who's working on the shit. And on top of that, fucking go out of their way to either redo, overhaul, or just completely revamp it, even if it was perfectly fine, just because it had her name attached to it. It's entirely possible. It's Disney. And she's pissed off the House of Mouse. So I think this whole new High Era is going to be perfectly fine, just because it's not touching on anything that's come before it. So which is ironic, because this is technically before anything that's already come out. So I'm not sure the grammatical proper way to describe that shit. Okay. Now, here's the thing. They're going to be fine. Almost all the characters, except for Yoda, are original characters in this entire era. There are strong people. There are combat people. There are peace-loving people. This is before the establishment of a giant collective. So it's really just Jedis, and Sith are unheard of, but are apparently planning a resurgence. Palpatine at this time is either a child or hasn't even been born yet. That's how long ago this was. They're going to be fine, because here's the thing I've always told people, and this is why they get mad at me when I tell them I don't watch the movies, and I haven't watched none of the movies and probably never will. Anytime Star Wars goes into another form of media, the stories can get more interesting, dynamic, and the combat is 10 times better than what's on screen. Star Wars Clone Wars, the Genndy Tartakovsky Clone Wars cartoon movie, Star Wars Rebels, and Star Wars Ahsoka, or however you want to view that shit, The Mandalorian, none of these have action sequences like anything that's in the movies. And on top of it, all the characters are either around or near every other character who's already been on the big screen. And look how well they're doing. So I have full faith that the High Era of Star Wars is Kathleen Kennedy proof. Even though she somewhat made the story, crafted it. But you got to remember, she ain't wrote shit. So the good or bad of these stories are dependent on the writers themselves. All right, topic 2. No, I don't think a fucking game app shit inside of your car is a good idea. Look, I get Tesla, or rather Elon, is a man who has a knack for making things he like exist instead of just staying imaginatory or dreams. Ooh, I finally get to use imaginatory in a sentence. Never get to do that. Take note, this will probably be the last time you hear that word in your entire life. That aside, I think it's a bad idea, because not that he made it, but hackers exist. Someone is going to try to make a game or take one of his games and make it work while the car is in driving or in reverse or just not in park. It's going to happen. Not to mention, the games can only be played from the steering wheel. You know what that means? At some point in time, kids may get into it. And that's what really frightens me. Because at that point in time, whose fault is it? Is it the parents' fault? Is it the kids' fault for hacking shit? Is it Tesla's fault? I don't want to think about that lawsuit, because if it happens, it usually means someone died. But no, I don't think it's a good idea. Do I think an app store involved with a Tesla theme is a good idea? Of course I do. Having it built into the car? Absolutely not. That frightens me. Moving on. I'm just curious, how much did you predict that, because I was going at the time, how much did you predict would be the cost of the PS5 controller? Just out of curiosity. Can't hear you, bro. Hey, check your mic settings.
$70.
70? That's surprisingly. Okay, I see you.
Maybe it's low. I mean, I don't know. I think it's the Nintendo Pro controller is like $80, right?
Yeah, but also different shit. I say you said 70, right? I want to say 65, but realistically, I feel like they're probably going to try to charge 90. Because remember, anytime Sony makes a product with PlayStation, they price it to make profit, even if it doesn't sell. Let's not forget, PlayStation 2 controllers stacked up in game stores because no one bought them. There were so many other controllers that just did something different, or they just felt different because they were bigger or something. And third-party controllers got used almost more than regular Sony controllers. Also, here's another thing. If they want to make bare minimum profit off of these controllers, they're probably not going to charge more than 10 or 15 bucks extra. So I think the controllers are worth maybe 65 once they're finished, but they're going to retail for 80 or 90, which I think is fucking dumb. Don't get me wrong. It's an investment. They're controllers. They're supposed to be an investment. But you know that no matter how much you try to undercut the market or try to force people into buying only your products by stopping the sale of third-party controllers, which companies have tried and they'll always fail. Here's the thing. Your controller will never do everything someone wants it to. And I think these game companies realistically need to realize that. They need to realize that. I think Nintendo figured it out a long time ago, because it wasn't uncommon for, like, you know, the president, I think, of Nyko and Mad Catz to talk to and associate with, you know, the head of Nintendo America or either Japan at the time. But here's the thing. Yo, Sony and Microsoft have been way more brutal about it. You didn't know about this, but when the 360 came out, Microsoft actually tried to stop the sale of third-party controllers outright. Like, they weren't giving licensing to nobody. But GameStop told them, we will refuse to sell your accessories if we can't sell our own version of your controller. Bet you didn't know that.
Did not.
Yeah,
Crazy.
See, they think that people aren't buying their controllers because there's competition. But no, people aren't buying their controllers because their price point is a fucking problem. And it's been like that for some time. When video game controllers first got to the price of games, it was insane. People were just saying, hey, look, I play co-op games, but if somebody don't bring their own controller, they out of luck. Or they bought the mini controllers, which was the rage back then because kids played games and controllers were too big for them. A mini controller would have been good for you, but then again, you've always been a fucking giant, so probably not.
I remember those mini controllers.
Yeah, they were always like at least $20 cheaper than the original versions. I've seen grown men play them. They either just had small hands or small fingers or some shit, but also they were cheaper. And in the case of Nintendo, look, they just keep adding so much shit that it gets harder and harder for people to like copy their shit. So what happens is people make their controllers, undercut the price, advertise that they got a cheaper version, but they don't mention that they don't have the features unless you go to their website. They don't put them on the box. Now, see, I know the game though, so I was prepared for it. When the Nintendo Switch D-pad Joy-Con came out, that wasn't made by Nintendo, bro. I knew when I first saw those, okay, they're not gonna have half the features that the Nintendo one does, but they got a D-pad, and I bought it immediately. So right now, technically, I have 3 Joy-Cons. I have 2, a left red and a right red, because I know how to trade. And I have a Legend of Zelda themed left one that's got a D-pad on it. But guess what it can't do? Every single thing that the left one can, other than detect buttons. And I don't regret it. Why? Just because Nintendo fucking with me. And you know how I am when Nintendo fuck with me specifically. If they fuck with me, I go around their products or I don't get them. And since you can't get around a controller, hey, I mean, you have to use a controller. I just won't use theirs. And I've yet to regret it. In fact, some of the hardest to find and easily sold Nintendo grips are ones that are made for adult hands. Like, they constantly sell out. They know the market's there. They don't give a shit about it. They even said it in an interview. Obviously, there's some new Switch thing coming out. We don't know if it's just a dock. We don't know if it's an attachment. Everyone says there's going to be a dual screen function involved, but that could just mean that you can play the game on the TV and the Switch itself is the controller and it uses the middle screen, which personally, I want that because that was like the one good thing about the Wii U. But I digress. I think the controller is going to be produced for $65 but sell for like $90, and I really wish they wouldn't do that. But at the same time, hey, look, even if Sony tries to pull the same bullshit that they did earlier with the PS4 and they extremely cut down and limited what companies make shit for them, guess what? There are companies that make adapters that bypass all of that shit so you can use other controllers on systems. It feels funny and weird when you play a Nintendo Switch game with an Xbox One controller. And
Sounds
that device,
funny.
yeah, and it's still out. I'll if you ever want one, I'll send you one. That device is like $25 or $35. And it works on all the current systems, and it lets you use any controller. Of course, there are some downsides. If it involves gyro motion, hey, look, if it ain't a Switch controller, you out of luck. But yeah, that's where I'm at with that. Moving on. I love Final Fantasy VII Remake, but unlike most people, or unlike every other fanboy, as you've learned and known throughout this podcast, I am one of the few people who means it when he says he can give an unbiased opinion, even if it's something he loves. I love Final Fantasy VII, and not just because Tifa is there. That's right, I made the joke before my friends could. Fuck y'all. Anyways, Jessie, unfortunately, is stealing my heart again because every time I see Jessie, I feel bad because I know what's going to happen to her. It didn't happen this time, but that doesn't mean it won't happen in the future. Not to mention, they're trying to fix and repair timelines. I think the ending is hard to understand because basically you can already tell they're not fully going to flesh out what the fuck Sephiroth is doing and how he's doing it until the next game. But Biggs, Wedge, and Jessie may still be alive. We know Biggs is alive, but he may be in a coma or just severely hurt. Wedge might have gotten thrown out a giant skyscraper window and he may be dead. They didn't really clarify. They purposely made the screen go black. And Jessie is the one taking care of Biggs. Also, they don't seem to understand how the concept of psych works. It was a character trait that Jessie had from the original game where she would say something and then she would say psych. But the problem is, it doesn't seem like Japan knows how the concept of psych works because she uses it in weird ways that don't follow logic. Getting off topic though. Kinda, I guess. Look, the biggest problem you're gonna have with this game is just the ending. The characters' personalities are preserved and they're funny and they're interesting. Cloud is interpreted correctly, or rather his character is explained. He starts off being dogmatically, never gonna get to use that one again. He starts off being dogmatically disconnected, which makes him cool because it was a philosopher that said it a long time ago, but it's almost still accurate. Somebody said that being cool is to care about something and be passionate, but also detached at the same time. Cloud is good at doing that. The characters act like who they're supposed to, except Barrett, but I don't want to get into Barrett. I've done it a billion times at this point, and just me as a not white person, we've come to accept that perceptions of Africans in Square Enix games is always going to be depressing on some levels, but at least, and I will say this comfortably, they're indirectly trying to do better. If memory serves, Square Enix does have an ethics committee within the company, and I'm pretty sure Barrett didn't go under a lot of scrutiny, but generally speaking, with the exception of Kingdom Hearts, when African or dark-skinned people show up, they're not instantaneously some type of joke character, even though almost every comedic moment involving when you have all three people together, besides Cloud being in a dress, usually involves Barrett, near the end game at least, and the beginning. However, like with anybody who knows the series, they know that the character's emotions change based on certain situations. One of the only people that has consistent the only people who have consistent emotions is Red 13, Tifa, and Aerith. However, this is only game one. We might see some more character exploration, not so much character development later on. But at the same time, Aerith is already a complete build. She looks like the soft, sweet little angel high school girl cliche, out of reach, but is still approachable somehow. Bullshit, but also, she can be a dick, and she thinks being sarcastic is funny. There's actually a point in time where she gets insulted for, I think, having small tits or not being pretty, and she turns to Cloud and says, "Permission to kill." That's her actual line, and Cloud says, "Permission denied." Okay? What I hate, and one of the other things I hate, is fucking the end of the game. Yes, it's fun. Yes, it has slow moments. Yes, it has fast moments. But once you get Red 13, who obviously they should have just made him playable. Fuck the bullshit. Well, we feel like we couldn't flesh him out. No shit. You couldn't flesh him out in Disc 1 too. By the time you get him, Disc 1 is over. Just let us get access to his shit. Only give him like one ability or two abilities and one limit break. And we can't, and we already know we can't go back down to Midgard on the lower plate levels. Just let us finish out the game with them. That would have been a nice touch. Also, it seems like they have a genuine issue or problem with allowing 4 people to be on screen at once, because Barrett is in your party for the end of the game, like he's supposed to be. He doesn't go anywhere. But for some reason, right before you get into the motorcycle chase, as you're leaving, trying to get out the building, Barrett is just not playable. He's right there in your party. You can still customize his shit, take stuff off of him, put stuff on his character, material, and all that. But you can't just switch him out with somebody or have all 4 characters at once. And they don't even explain it, and there's not a story element for it. They just say, nah, fuck this shit. Red 13, Barrett, Tifa, Cloud, and Aerith, bitch, no. We're gonna have to cock block you twice. And it's weird. It's not like he doesn't speak in cutscenes. It's not like he doesn't help out with the end of the story. Their excuse was they couldn't flesh him out. Well, bro, we know you can't, just do it anyway. But now a part of me feels like they're gonna flesh him out in a DLC. Personally, I want a Biggs, Wedge, and Jesse DLC. Because obviously those 3, even if they're not playable, you can tell that they could make them playable fairly easy, especially Jesse. Jesse can be extremely fast, damaging glass cannon. Her abilities revolve around explosions. Biggs, hey, he's basically Dante without swords. Let him be that acrobatic, dynamic, dual-wielding mofo. I don't know what you're going to do with Wedge. Look, you can just make him use shotguns or use or he could be the materia magic guy. The chemistry is there. And I hate that they keep making me like Jesse again. I want to be loyal to Tifa, but Jesse, I know women like her in real life, and I feel bad for them every time they can't get the guy that they actually put effort into. Those are those rare breeds of women who don't just stare and giggle or dress up really, 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 really fancy and expensive to try to get the dude's attention and then never do that again unless they're at a party or something. I'm not saying you should cock tease. It's wrong to cock tease a guy. It kind of is. But my whole point is that girl almost never gets the guy the first go around. So I feel for her. She does come on a little bit too desperate. But to be fair, Cloud does not know how to respond to emotions correctly. So they almost fit each other. She makes up for what he lacks. She would obviously destroy the fuck out of him in bed too. But that's another matter. But yeah, I love it. The only thing I really hate to summarize is how they did the final chapter or final 2 chapters of the game. And the ending is more confusing than it needs to be. Some people are trying to claim alternate dimensions. Some people are trying to claim time travel. And some people are trying to claim time repair, which is rare. I'm in that mindset of they're trying to repair a timeline. Or I guess timeline hijinks or time travel hijinks. Someone really likes the Avengers. Moving on. I think we got to the place where we are in sexism. And I know a lot of people like to point the finger at Japan because Japan and sex laws there are so many ways to describe it. None of them are positive with how sex laws are handled in Japan. But let me say this. I don't think we can solve this overnight, and the question isn't to solve it, but try to figure out how we got here. I think we got here when game companies lost the ability to acknowledge that they had female gamers, or that, not even female gamers, or that they lost the ability to acknowledge that respecting on some level your characters also means respecting their image. And the problem is, who's going to teach them that? I promise you right now, there's somebody at Square Enix, somebody at Capcom, somebody at insert whatever famous company you can think of, who knows their characters have a porn version of them. But unlike Blizzard, gonna do something about it. Not gonna do anything about it, sorry. And they will even probably go around the office showing, bro, look, I found this link. Oh shit, it's her fucking getting fucked in the ass, bro. I gotta show Bobby in accounting. That's where we have a problem. People don't care. I think we got this way because up until recently, nobody cared about the image of the female and the presentation of the female in video games. And just so we're clear, let me just make it absolutely understood. I get that some characters have to be sexy. I get that some characters have to be smutty. If a character's job is to be an evil temptress who seduces people, or if she's an asshole cock tease character like Black Cat or Cat from Spider-Man, it makes sense. I get that. I'm not saying you need to stop doing that because it could hurt someone's feelings, other petty bullshit. I'm saying that there is no system of regulation, and the reason we have the issues that we do in cases where it is a fucking problem is because there is no common sense regulation, and people who aren't qualified are designing these characters. The writers will know they need to make a character look commendable, but then, they'll have the character having their ass poked out at all times in the show. They'll have giant tits that defy logic and are filled with helium in game, and the company will let people make unlicensed smut products like tit mouse pads or body pillows where the character's slutty or looking like they're about to get fucked. The problem is that the industry half steps and they don't even want to acknowledge it. That's it. Because the industry does not self-police. That's it. Moving on. All right, so secondary media is a little bit unique for me. In the case of secondary media, I acknowledge it and I accept it. And I don't view it as a necessary evil like some purist or whatever they want to call themselves do. I think transmedia can and should happen based on if there is a fan demand or the company is able to pull that shit off. Okay? So my whole thing is very, very simple. Secondary media should happen if you have fans who are already invested in another form of media that is easy to transfer into. And you don't want to put a lot of money into it at first. You want to make sure you can do a good job and see if your fans are willing to transmigrate on some level. Everyone knows that if a TV show has a novel, half the motherfuckers who watch it ain't gonna read that novel. If a TV show gets popular enough and makes a novel, the novel people may go and watch the show, but there's not going to be a lot of transition and layover from the from the TV show to the book viewers. It's no different from me explaining for decades now, anime fans are not inherently manga fans, and people need to understand that. They want to be lazy on purpose. They don't care if they're getting half of a story. They just don't want to feel like they're getting half of a story. I've seen plenty of people tell me or ask me, why are you reading that when the show already ended? You already watched the show. I was like, the show ended, but the books never stopped where the show did. The books go past it for years. What? What happens in it? It's like, I can't give you everything play by play, piece by piece, chapter by chapter, bro. Here you go, read it. Oh, I don't read books. The fuck am I supposed to do with that? But also look at it from a designer and developer and creator standpoint. They know coming off the bat, fucking people are going to do one thing and not the other. The guy who buys that t-shirt, yeah, he might not read the book. The guy who reads the book, yeah, he might not fucking buy the video game. It's just how it is. It sucks, and you can't force them into it. Now, do I think there's a best path to secondary platform migration for media of any type? Yes. And I'm going to start it off very, very simply. You go old school and you start them off with the hardcore brutal shit. No matter what your property, if it's extremely popular, make a fucking book. If you get fans to transition into reading the book, listening to the audiobook, then you should already know that's the hardest pill for fans to swallow. And if you start off with that and it comes up being successful, that's when you hop into everything else. Because from that point on, it's smooth sailing. Because books are the most restrictive and they're the most interesting and engaging. A lot of idiots, because idiots like to run their mouth for no reason, were stating for almost 20 years that with the invention of the internet and movies and all this shit becoming more readily accessible, book sales are going to go down, but they actually did the opposite. Their sales went up. Their sales go up, way up. Doesn't matter if it's a physical book or a digital book or an audio book, it's still a book. And sales go up. Yes, I do in some parts blame Harry Potter, but that's not a bad thing for Harry Potter to be blamed for. You know? Anyways, fucking, that's just how it is. The best path is to start with the original groundbreaker, the one that they said would die, but it's proven to be as immortal as it ever was, which is novelization. Look at the house Game of Thrones is built on. A Song in Ice and Fire is the name of the novels, not Game of Thrones. But the novels spawned how much? You know what? Let's just look it up. Hey Google, how much has Game of Thrones made?
According to Finance Monthly, Game of Thrones Season 8 has brought in an average of $88 million per episode from HBO subscriptions.
And that's the final season, the one everyone hates.
Insane.
Yeah. And it started as a book. So literally, there's no way to go but up for the R.R. Martin. What he really needs to do, since he doesn't want to care about his own health and shit, And just, I don't care what he says, despite how nice he is, he don't want to give a shit. I've seen it all the time. My dad was like that. My dad made a bunch of friends, no matter the age range and group. When he came down the street or when he was at an establishment that he frequented, people went out of their way to speak to him, all that shit. But guess what? He didn't want to do anything that his fucking physical aid nurse told him to. He didn't throw a tantrum at her. He just smiled and said something polite. He didn't want to change what he was doing. George R.R. Martin, I see the same shit in him. He needs to make sure someone else can grab onto his shit. Obviously, his license is with HBO, but that license is limited. They have access to certain shit, but he may not finish the whole damn story. And if he can't or doesn't finish the whole damn story, we all know how this is going to end. It's going to be one of those great works that they don't finish. And for all we know, HBO could say, well, we're going to try to finish it and make it rain again. And other people are going to be like, how dare you even say you finish it? You don't know how it's going to end, blah, blah, blah. Because the only people that know how Game of Thrones, or rather A Song of Ice and Fire as a whole, is supposed to end are the two brother directors who worked on the show. He told them season 1 how the whole franchise was supposed to end, as far as that entire Westeros section. Ain't that some shit? The people who didn't do anything with it are the people he told. It's ironic. Y'all keep forgetting how old he is. In fact, so do I. Hey, Google. Hey, Google. Oh, see, I hate when it does that. How old is George R.R. Martin right now?
George R.R. Martin is 71 years old.
He's 71, and he's over 300 pounds. When's the last time you seen or heard of an 80-year-old being that heavy and still existing? Fucking never. Don't get me wrong, I'm not insulting him for being old and fat. I'm saying that, look, his time is extremely limited. And we need to accept that, or rather, he needs to embrace that. And since if he's not gonna fix his fucking health, the motherfucker needs to legitimately go out of his way to fix his shit. He needs to make sure that the legacy can be continued properly. Because when a creator leaves, even if they don't die, when a creator leaves something, garbage can flow. Look no further than Sonic the Hedgehog. The guy who drew him, he's dead. Yuji Nakamura hasn't worked for Sega in almost 20 years now. And look what's happened to Sonic with no true direction. At least the Sonic movie was good though. But that's because they listened to the fucking fans. Anyways, start off with books to summarize. Start off with books for whatever media you have, unless you're already books and the world's your oyster. Transition into audiobooks or possibly go into audio dramas, because even Marvel's doing that now. And once you go from there, dance around with a very, very small miniseries. Don't blow a lot of money. Don't come in expecting it to turn into a series. Literally just, and I do mean just, do a miniseries. I don't care if you put it on Netflix or whatever the fuck else. Just create that, plan it out, see where it goes, and start talking to other media professionals in other fields you're not from. Chances are there's somebody who already likes your property. And as long as they don't M. Night Shyamalan it, you'll probably find something you'll like about it. And make sure you never give 100% control or authority to any particular entity. If they want exclusivity rights, make sure it's temporary or it's for the duration of the project. You know, they got to make their money even if they like it. So yeah, with that being said, hey, is there anything else in gaming you want to talk about and shit? Not necessarily a topic, but just cool shit.
I got nothing. Nothing really comes out.
Oh my fucking
anytime
god,
soon.
you young bastards. I forget how y'all don't like to look at shit. Okay, so Streets of Rage 4 is finally coming out after damn near 15 years of waiting and being canceled almost 4 times now.
On April 30th.
Can't wait for it. Not only is it going to be 4 players, which first off, that's insane in general, because up until this point, the last time we had a 4-player beat 'em up was the Battletoads and Double Dragons combo. And that was what, 1995? 6?
And the cool feature of playing with the retro characters, the retro versions in the new Streets of Rage.
Oh, that's weird. Cool. I thought you didn't have shit to say. Anyways, also...
Xenoblade comes out next month as well.
It's just wow, I'm saying, you finally opened your mouth.
I'm just saying that a lot of stuff got delayed. Okay.
That don't mean you can't talk about it.
I'm sorry.
It's a literal talk show. I know how people say loose lips sink ships. No, that's the opposite when you get on board, motherfucker. Speak or we'll drown. Fucking... I just want to say for the few people that care about the podcast, hey, look, sorry for the delay. Final Fantasy VII happened. Y'all should have known this shit was going to happen. But I am uploading, literally as we speak, my entire playthrough of normal mode, including all my triumphs and my losses. So, yeah. Yeah. Had to fight Sephiroth a couple times. Fuck that dude. He wasn't even really all that fucking hard. The problem is that the shit I mentioned earlier. They don't want all 4 characters to be on screen or 5 characters to be on screen at the same time. It's weird. It's really fucking weird. So, you have to fight him piecemeal. Cloud fights Sephiroth. Then Cloud and Aerith fight Sephiroth. Then Cloud, Aerith, and Tifa fight Sephiroth. Then
you can actually get Barrett in that fight.
Huh?
You can get Barrett in that fight. There's a chance that you might not get Aerith. It's actually, like, I've heard people saying they've been getting different characters.
I think it might be based on how your party was organized before the last fight. So I had Aerith, I had Tifa, Aerith, and Cloud. And you know, here's another thing though. I don't think they realized what they did. Okay, so when you're hitting, or when Barrett goes off to hit that giant wheel with Red 13 or Nanaki, he does big shot. Yeah, he does big shot, and Nanaki does Stardust Ray. You don't actually see an energy blast from fucking Nanaki. All you see is Barrett shoot shit off, but it says focus shot plus Stardust Ray. Like, where the fuck did the Stardust Ray go? Was it coming from the ceiling and I didn't see it? And I got the shit recorded. I didn't see him actually do anything other than howl. But yeah, like Sephiroth is kind of hard, but he's only hard if you're just fighting him as Cloud. Also, that Sephiroth fight, nuh-uh. That shouldn't have happened when it happened. Because now when they get to Costa del Sol, I don't know how that's going to function. Because the boss of Costa del Sol is Sephiroth. So we just fought Sephiroth fucking 2 times. And when the game starts off, we're going to fight him again immediately?
Wait, you mean not the Genova fight on the ship to Costa del Sol, right?
No, that's exactly what I mean. Because remember, it's Genova in the form of Sephiroth. So I don't know how that's going to work.
I mean, if you want to talk predictions, I mean, this game, the second game is just going to be, it's going to be incredibly nutty, and things are going to be different.
Hell yes. Hell yes. I think the third game is going to be the best one because all the chaos is done for at that point. But the second one, oh man, I can't imagine. Because first off, here's the thing people keep mentioning. They keep saying, well, the second and third one are going to come out faster because they already got generated assets. I'm like, bitch, did you play the original games? Everything in disc 1, you don't access again. And the whole world is nothing like Midgard. They're starting from scratch, or they're going to repurpose all the shit that they made in Final Fantasy 15. That's the only way I see them getting this shit done fast. Don't get me wrong. The characters are nice. The combat was decent. They need to modify the combat. I don't want them to just keep doing the same combat for all 3 games. I want them to do slight alterations to it. Hey, the materia are fine though. I'm fine with the materia.
I mean, like expanded combat, team attacks.
Yes,
like we've seen it with
dude,
the materia.
it
Like,
looked
we're gonna
like Team
see,
Attacks
we're
was
gonna
gonna
see
be in the game initially anyway.
We have it with like synergy and like some other stuff, but
Synergy
like
and
I think,
Magnify. And
well, they need something to build on. They need like you can't just like I feel like purposely they didn't do it because they need like the sequel is gonna have to have more, right? So like team
you
attacks.
think there's
I
some
guess,
type
would
of
be,
element
like,
that
the
got
thing.
cut?
Yeah, maybe. Like
I'm
I feel like
inclined
they
to
had to
agree.
save it. You gotta save stuff for sequels.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
I
and
mean, you gotta,
dude, some people don't even see it, and I don't even know how I tricked it. But Nanaki actually does have a limit break or an ability. No, it's a limit break, I think. Well, he has an ability or limit break in the game, and he can trigger it, but it's hard to catch because I've only pulled it off after I beat the game and I went to replay one of the chapters. It's the weird move that makes no sense, where he literally rolls up like he's a ball and hits
Like
an
he
enemy,
flips
and
in
he
the
creates an
air.
explosion with his mouth. But you don't see how the explosion happened. That move, and it even had a name. And I was just like, wait, what the fuck? Is this a limit break or is this an ability?
it's like it lasts like a split second.
Yeah,
I've
you've seen it,
I've seen
yeah.
him jump in the air. He does the flip, and then like the thing just blew up. I was like, oh, okay.
Fuck was that? Yeah, exactly. And also, if you look at the cutscenes, bro, he's actually wearing green materia. He's wearing materia.
He has cure. He uses cure on you. So
See, that I didn't
I
even
mean,
know. But yeah, you see what I mean, though. Fucking and enemy skill. They need to overhaul enemy skill. I'm mad about enemy skill because enemy skill. Well, you know what it does? It lets you use an enemy's attack as your own. Here's the thing, though. The original game, I get it. It was a long game. You get like 14 or 30 skills for enemy skill. In this game, you get 4. Bitch, you could at least let us get half, because first off, almost everything that was on the enemy skill, the characters see in game already. There's a flamethrower move on enemy skill. The fucking the paratrooper flying Shinra troopers have flamethrowers. 3 other enemies shoot flamethrowers. Hell House, I would love to be able to shoot a bunch of missiles that look like chairs just for shits and giggles. There was no missile type attack that the characters could get in game at all. The closest you get is Magnify when you put that on an elemental materia.
that move is so cool.
Yeah, it is. Like when you have Thundaga and Magnify, even if they're resistant, the damage is stupid good. Cause here's some weird shit people didn't notice. Magnify can actually build its damage up. They can multiple times. So if you have, example again, Thundaga, the main person you target takes the bulk of the damage and everybody else takes reduced damage. But if they're all standing next to each other, Thundaga is going to go off 3 times. So that means whoever's around them is getting hit 3 times instead of 1, including the original person. So Magnify actually can make the base damage more deadly just because everything else gets hit and it was next to him. And I didn't even catch that till I saw it in a YouTube video where someone explained it. Because I couldn't understand how I was killing shit. I killed this enemy that was extremely resistant to lightning in 1 shot. And it made no sense.
That explains so much. Because I would walk into a room, throw out Viagra, and then like everything just blew up and everyone was dead. That explains a lot.
Yeah, it's like setting off a grenade. One person can get hit by a grenade, but that doesn't mean the people around the grenade won't get hit. Now imagine if all the grenades are around all the people every time it goes off. That's what it is. I don't recommend Fire Aga though, because it has the best chance of missing. Thundaga though has the least chance of missing. That's why I always kept it on Aerith. Also,
I got the
dude, Magnify, Arcane Ward, Aerith. Holy shit. Magnify, everybody gets hit. Arcane Ward, everybody gets hit twice and you don't have to pay for it with MP. It's insane. Didn't think of that, did you?
Wait, what? Wait. You can put.
Yup.
Yeah, okay.
Magnify still works when Arcane Ward is on.
Insane. Holy crap.
Yeah, and
Did not even think of that.
I know. A lot of my friends didn't think about it. It was like, they kept saying, man, I hate playing Aerith. Her character's too. So it's like, bitch, how did you think she was gonna play? She's not gonna be doing kung fu with that pole. Maybe in the next game she gets to hang out with Tifa a lot. Tifa starts teaching her physical attack moves or some shit like that. But here's the thing. Everyone who played the game knew, even if you didn't play the game, you should know just how Aerith is built and her character. She's not going to be doing kung fu shit with that staff. So, for me, I was just like, okay, I need to make sure her magic damage is high at all times. Then I realized, oh fuck, it's actually kind of hard to build meter for this character. Mind you, I'm one of the few people who got those secret weapons that help you boost up limit gauge really, really quickly. There's only one I don't have, but to be fair, that shit hard. I have to beat up all the summons, including Bahamut. And I can't use items. It's hard to get that shit. But the other two, I got them. It's called the Transmuter. I think that's what it's called. Bro, every time you do an ability feeds your limit break meter.
Yeah, I have it. I put it on cloud.
Waste of time. Should have given it to Tifa. So here's the thing. That thing has a secondary version. I think it's called the Celestial Amulet or something. You can tell it's meant for Aerith. It transforms MP attacks into limit break gauge. Because before this happened, dude, shit you not, the whole game, I only did Aerith's limit break 3 times because it's so hard to fucking get. But when I got that, she could do a limit break almost every single boss fight or any fight that ran longer than 5 minutes. Also, not to mention, fucking, there's only 2 materia that you don't get from Chadley in game. And the second one was annoying as fuck to get. But I got it, and I regretted it instantly because it was just Chocomog materia. Man, that piece of shit. But its special ability does come in handy. But at the same time, man, that piece of shit.
You know what I will say? There's a really bad like snowball effect in this game where if you're getting your ass kicked and someone dies, it gets dramatically worse.
Dude, that's why I kept losing to Sephiroth.
Destroyed.
Bro, I completely changed my accessories when I fought Sephiroth. I took Transmuter off of Tifa, I gave it to Cloud, and I gave everybody else Revival Ring because no matter what happens, Heartless Angel, which first off, how the fuck does he have that move? That's from Kingdom Hearts, isn't it? When he does Heartless Angel, the fucking AI doesn't know to run the fuck away from it. So my character, I'll pull them as far away from Heartless Angel as possible, and I'll try to make them cast magic so they stay out of it and it can possibly knock them out of it. But then the other characters, I have to get to them fast enough so they don't just get 1 HP and then he comes down, hits them 1 time, and that's it. Like, I don't even think my characters could beat Sephiroth without Revival Ring. Cloud did pretty good, and I learned a little trick. If you stagger him, set him to stagger right before the point where the stage transitions and you get those free attacks, those free attacks will be affected by the stagger and they'll do more damage. So you can trigger them to get your full party faster. But you can't plan for that. You just have to get lucky. Also, they say that he has extreme resistance to all magic, but bro, hit his ass with Thundaga when you get Aerith. That builds up so much stagger meter, it's insane.
Like that and like focus thrust them. I didn't actually have a lot of deaths. I died a lot to enemies. Like there's that room with the Bloodhounds with Tifa and Aerith in the Shinra lab or the drum corps.
I don't know.
That room destroyed me like 3 times. What's that?
Okay, let me ask you. How good is are you better with Tifa or are you better with Aerith?
I'm in the middle. I don't think I'm
there
better
you go.
with one character or the other.
See what you need to do.
I use Sorcerer's Storm to kill them and then
See, that's the problem right there. See, you got to make sure if you're going to be using Aerith for combat that the first time the match starts, she uses haste or someone uses haste. Because Aerith without haste is basically a white mage. But Aerith with haste is a competitive character. Even when you do the tournament stuff with her to get unlockables for her, like her ultimate moves, you need haste on her because She can devastate people because of her magic, but they know that. They know that most of the enemies in this game don't even have high magical resistance. What you need to do is have time on her. She needs to be hasted at all times, no pun intended. Because without it, you kill her effectiveness and her efficiency. Because if you look at it, all of her strong attacks except for Thunderstorm, she has to spend two bars on. And it's extremely hard to build 2 bars with the Aerith with no haste.
Facts. Totally true.
Yeah. All right, so, I don't know what system I'm going to get Streets of Rage 4 on, but I'll try to shoot for something that everyone has, because even if it's on the Switch, don't nobody play online on Switch unless it's Smash Bros. And even then, it's iffy. Really, it's just Splatoon 2 that everyone does online for. And
I don't think I'm picking it up, but
fuck you. I'm going to possibly get it PS4 or PC, but I might get multiple copies because I'm pretty sure the game's going to be cheap. However, I'm a little bit skeptic because they purposely haven't showed the price in any of the trailers. I want to not pay more than $30 for this game, but the whole entire game is hand-drawn sprites, except the ones that came from Sega. So I don't know. They might charge full retail because, hey, hand-drawn shit.
I could see like maybe like 20, 30. I know hand-drawn shit though. That could be like.
And also the replay value. Like, you're gonna beat that game probably the same day you get it. But unlike Resident Evil 3, you know that coming in. But on top of that, they could add modes that never existed, unlike Resident Evil 3. So if you could play the whole game with all those old characters, for all we know, they could make a DLC of an updated version. Shiva was playable in Streets of Rage 3, but what if he's a secret unlockable, or you can play the modern version of Shiva? Also, I don't know if you caught this, but bro, the old characters, they gave them super moves and they gave them back attacks too.
That's pretty cool.
Hell yeah. So that gets rid of like their biggest possible weaknesses they could have had going into this game. Anyways, all right, that's been enough rambling. This has been another exciting episode of Token Games Podcast. Look forward to my blood, sweat, tears, trials, and tribulations in Final Fantasy as it uploads over the course of the rest of this day and probably tomorrow, because I finished the whole game. I'm doing a bulk upload, and I will see you guys when I see you guys. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's part 2. As y'all know, we got a different approach to how we do editing now. People can come in without being there on the same date and at the same time. You know him, you love him, you missed him because he was deployed over there to Germany. The truest and the tallest of all of the Wakandan ambassadors to the United States military, one Michael Dat Hill.
Glad to be here. Glad to be back.
All right. And, of course, our mainstay living legend of the entire podcast, recovering from Final Fantasy VII Remake Syndrome, much like myself, 9001.
Hey, how you doing?
And a late entry, but not too late because introductions are still in order. We do have one of our returning legends with the mouth that is more unstable than possibly any force on this earth. Ladies and gentlemen, I represent to you one of our veterans of the podcast, Mr. Haven.
So, holy shit.
Nigga, you hoarse or were you just fucking around with your voice?
No, I tried to talk and I had like phlegm in my throat, so it was awkward.
Yeah, it sounded like a T-Rex growl.
Yeah, that was pretty creepy, man.
All right. Well, if you're looking for the topics, they start at my on the texting page on April 18th. You're going to be going last, so you got the most time to think about it. All right, Hill, go ahead and start us off.
All right, so for topic 1, fucking dang, I just
Brain fart on it. Yeah, new Star Wars, not the best thing going on considering how nobody likes the new director and how she's fucking taking the franchise.
I think you mean producer.
Producer, you know what I meant. Whoever has the helm of Star Wars trying to make everything new again, everybody's hating on it. So I'm not looking too forward to the whole shift in paradigm. The only thing keeping the Star Wars franchise alive as a whole right now is The Mandalorian, and you only get that through Disney. Having an app in a car is the dumbest idea ever because somebody's gonna play it while they're driving. It's gonna happen.
That's exactly what the fuck I said.
That is gonna obviously kill people, or at the very least kill yourself. Because you're not going to be focusing on driving, you'll be focusing on the app. PS5 controller. On one hand, it just looks just terrible. I hate it. I hate the design so much. Like, Sony just like kept this whole sleek design they had for like the past 20 years. And the only thing that was different between the regular DualShock controller and the PS4 was a touchpad, but now they completely changed it. But however, them adding on to sensitivity of a trigger to how it would feel, changing how the controller would be based off of the game you are playing is genius. To me, that would make great innovation for the controller and how far they go for that.
Okay, now to get back to the question, how much do you think it's gonna be? Because I'm curious.
That is going to be at least a good $100 because they did the same thing with the fucking Pro controllers, like the ones you could like customize and shit. You know what I'm talking about? You could like remove the buttons and make it like, you know.
Yeah, I remember.
Multiple D-pads. This trigger is going to be lighter than this other one, so that's all I feel like it's going to be. This is expensive as fuck for no reason. Final Fantasy 7. I love it. I like the style, how I feel like I can actually feel the depth of Cloud's character from the fucking JPEG of I don't like you, Barrett. I know that's just like weird. I barely played into it, but like how everything is played out from him being a mercenary, from him losing his mind. Everything just feels like it flows together perfectly. And I don't have to sit through combat for too long. Granted, I am bad at at the boss fight with the fucking laser scorpion where he like, oh, by the way, it was, in my opinion, it was easier in the old game because it's just like, don't hit him at this time, then hit him at this time. So it's just, that's fine, but like other than that, it was pretty good. I loved it. Acknowledging the fact that there's sexism in gaming is like, it's not gonna happen because fucking you see a female on your fucking streams like, oh, it's a girl, she can't play, or it's girl, she's only being an e-thought, so it's kind of hard to fight that. While obviously there are obvious cases for it, there's obviously cases against it where people can fucking, women can play video games without keeping their fucking clothes on and actually be good at the game. I know many women who fucking can smoke me in different games. And my girlfriend's amazing at fucking Uncharted. I'm never gonna pick up those games.
Uncharted the shit though. Uncharted the shit though.
You're right. I'm still confused about the secondary media.
Okay, so secondary media is anytime something you like in any form of media goes onto a different platform. So if you read a comic book and one day it turns into a TV show, secondary media. You watch a TV show and one day it gets turned into a novel, secondary media, like that. You get it now?
Yeah. I wouldn't say there's a best path, because if I were to say for a movement for secondary media, let it go to like Netflix, if we're gonna be real, because everybody's fucking has a Netflix. And then with that, everybody can just with that. But honestly, the best secondary media form, in my opinion, hands down, Tower of God. When that got released onto Crunchyroll, saying that everybody's favorite webcomic just got realized into an anime.
I have never heard of this. I might have to look into it.
It was on Webtoons, and it's Webtoons is was originally like a Korean marketed artist platform, and then it turned into like a worldwide phenomenon. And then
Tower of God. I've heard kind of mixed things about it, really. Haven't yet checked it out myself, but I probably will a bit.
I love the fucking.
You okay, bro?
I love the fucking web series of that. And then I heard I'd become an anime, debating if I just want to watch it habitually and catch up that way, or just go back into reading it again. Because I'll probably just end up reading it again.
Well, thing is, with it, the whole being a secondary platform, or secondary media, transmedia here, the anime adaptation may end up being a bit different than the source material. Possibly for
It's
the better,
Netflix.
possibly
It's
for the
not
worse.
Japan.
True.
It's
It always
Netflix.
does shift.
It's Netflix. It's not Japan. I'm assuming I need to explain that statement. Because y'all got kind of quiet.
Go for it.
Okay. When you see alterations and changes, it's usually due to Japan and a budget constraint, or whoever is actually in charge of the company or studio getting hit with mandates to go and alter or change some shit. But this is Netflix. So they're going to just let them make what they go make and then censor it later, but not edit the story. So if they skip something, it's because they themselves did it by choice, not because Netflix told them to. So the odds of it getting not fucked with are higher than normal.
True enough. I wasn't so much saying that as much as I was saying sometimes you get changes that are for the better.
Nah, fuck
They
that.
can
I say the shit
add
bad.
more.
We will disagree to agree on that one, because I'll give you two words. Soul Eater. God damn it. Okay, that's 4, but you get the point.
Well, yeah, that was an example of something that got totally fucked by changes made to it.
Full Metal Alchemist 2.
Well, yeah, but then we got Brotherhood.
Yeah, but Brotherhood shouldn't have happened because they should have left it alone.
Brotherhood is the proper manga adaptation of how Full Metal Alchemist story went.
Yes, it is.
Oh yeah, they should have gotten it right the first time, but at least they gave. Apologies, hiccup. At least they gave us, something better, closer, like as close to the source material as they could get. They realized it did us dirty, so they tried to make up for it.
So yeah, go ahead and continue, Mike.
That's it. Just everything was going good, but best thing for one media to the next, I'd say Netflix, because that's easier accessible and not too high of a paywall. Because I think you can have a free Netflix account. I don't remember if they changed that. because everybody has Netflix or knows somebody with at least Netflix. Is like, hey, you heard this anime's on here? Let me watch it on here. Because most people aren't going to be too keen to jump into Crunchyroll, Disney Plus, or Hulu. Because not you got to be into Disney to want Disney Plus, and Hulu's fucking terrible.
And Crunchyroll refuses to acknowledge its own mistakes. So I usually get my anime from any place but Crunchyroll. I get what they're trying to do, but they suck at it. Okay. All right, officer, your turn.
Let's see here.
Oh, yeah, side note, guys, I can't remember who's in the Disney Plus pool with me, but hit me up on Thursday or Friday. It's time for everyone to access the account. Continue.
Alrighty. So, topic one, it's only really going to have a chance to be like as good as it could be if the current producer behind Star Wars does not meddle with it too much, because
Kathleen Kennedy.
she is exceptionally unpopular in both longtime Star Wars fans and even some newer ones that I know. So if it wants to succeed, well, here's hoping she doesn't have a whole lot to do with it. Other than that, it has a whole lot of potential, as we saw with other Star Wars properties that went and explored time periods before, the movies. Oh yeah, you can get something fucking amazing. So, yeah, I think it could be real good when, so long as that producer is not heavily involved in it. Okay, topic 2. This is a bad idea. This is simply, you don't want to do this. I mean, I guess I could see it if it was something where maybe someone in the back seat were to be able to have access to it. But even then, someone's going to be driving their Tesla and is going to be stupid and try and play a game while doing it.
I just like how literally no one has had a different opinion. I'm glad we all came to the consensus that people are idiots.
Yeah. This one's kind of cut and dry. Okay, topic 3. Yeah, I'm thinking this is probably going to be somewhere around the $100, possibly a bit more. Because, they're going to be, looks like they're doing quite a lot with it. That, and I think the controller, like the PS4 controllers are like, what, 50, 60 or something?
Yeah, just about. And the value never decreases, which aggravates the fuck out of me, but that's another story.
Yeah, so probably around the hundreds or a bit more. All right, topic 4. I'll be honest, it's good. It's real good. I'm loving it. I know, they've done a bunch of changes, but I don't mind. I haven't yet seen a change that was for the worst. So, yeah, it's good. Every single boss fight so far has been a different and memorable affair. Making use of, the terrain around them. Some of them pulling out, as you go through various stages as you bring its health down. Its attack patterns change. It's fucking amazing. But there was one boss fight Wait, am I allowed to spoiler?
Yes. Wait, hold on. It's up to Mike. Ask Mike.
Let's say you, Mike.
Ask me what?
Do you mind if I spoil something?
From Final Fantasy VII.
What chapter?
I want to say it was 8 or 9, or no, 7 or 8.
No.
Well, damn.
So saith Mike.
But yes, there was one particular boss fight I remember from the wall market section of the game that I will say nothing more on, just saying where it is. It was fucking amazing and hilarious and awesome. And I unfortunately don't think you're going to get any other boss fights that awesome. I'm pretty sure Zach here knows the one.
You haven't beat the game yet.
I guess. Okay, but yeah. Final Fantasy VII Remake, it's good. They managed to make every single character, in addition to, every boss fight feeling dramatically different and memorable from all the others, every character plays differently from each other. You got, Cloud for the, moderate attack speeds to, switching between moderate attack speed, dodgy stance to counter-focused, slow build-up, heavy-hitting attacks, which in several of the fights have come very useful. Because a number of the enemies, you can only really get the chance to properly stagger them if you get, a quick counter in. And then you got, Tifa with the building up of combos and the like through that unbridled strength ability. Then Barrett being a bit of a tank, and as many of us expected, Aerith being, the mage.
Hey, let me just say this because this shit is hilarious to me. Bro, I keep bumping into people who don't know unbridled strength extends all of your normal combos on the ground and in the air. That is hilarious. I don't understand how that happened. Like, I got a friend who's halfway through hard mode, did not realize it till I did it in front of him. Let that be a lesson to you, Mike. Use unbridled strength. Do it twice. You get longer combos.
I mean, I would think it'd be obvious to be able to tell that, but
not if they squat on somebody that isn't Tifa.
True. But yeah, every character plays really differently from each other, and I wouldn't say any of them is really bad. All of them are good. Makes me wonder how they're gonna do Red 13 once they release the next part of the game, because not really a spoiler here because they already said as much in news. He's unfortunately not playable in this.
For a stupid, dumbass reason, and he's even wearing materia when you get him. They cut him on purpose. They didn't cut him because he wasn't ready.
Oh well.
They better not do some Red 13 DLC bullshit.
That would be fucking stupid.
But he wasn't ready.
But yeah, Final Fantasy VII Remake, it's good. And it looks like probably by the time I get to the conclusion of it, since I'm being really thorough and, getting everything I can out of it, I'm probably going to be clocking in about 45 hours by the end. Which, for the $60 price tag, yeah,
don't fall for that it's a 30-hour game bullshit. First and foremost, people keep forgetting that those estimated times do not include secondary activities like side quest, farming, all that shit. Your playthrough is more than likely gonna be 40-something when you're done. Like, I don't even like that people try to present that as like a hard fact. Who does the exact same thing as everyone else in an RPG at the exact same time. It's an average, and the average never includes side quests.
Yep. That's why, I'm making sure to do everything the game has to offer. And I have
Sounds like a Fallout thing.
Ha! Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, or Bethesda games in general, really. But they all kind of follow that formula. All right, now topic 5. Unfortunately, I don't think there's a whole lot we can do about it just in video games, other than acknowledge, yes, this is a problem, and point it out when we see it, because this is a problem across all parts of society. It's been getting somewhat better in recent years, but it's still largely a problem for the entirety of society. We're going to need to do more than just change it in video games to give it a proper change. Which, like I said, it is seeing progress. It's slow.
Fair enough.
Okay. Now, as for topic 6, I think the best way to go about it largely depends on who they're getting, on what the first media was, and secondly, who they get involved with it. Because, say, Stephen King, he is a very well-known author. So people are going to see his works, and he's not going to have much of any problem getting any kind of secondary media he might want. But you go for someone who's maybe not so well known, or maybe they're just starting to break out into entertainment. Yeah, they might have a little bit more trouble with it. But luckily, we got all these various streaming services like Amazon Prime or Amazon Prime Video, Netflix, Hulu, and all these streaming services are willing to put up money to get these what we would call this secondary media. So I think a good way to go about secondary media is, since we are currently in the streaming boom, which likely won't be dying down anytime soon, I think go to some of these streaming services. A lot of them are quite willing to, take some risks on stuff that might not be the kind of thing your mainstream television would pick up. And I guess that's it for me, really.
All right, Haven, bring us home.
All right. So, this new Star Wars that everybody's getting their panties up in the water about, I think it'll be just fine no matter what happens, because you're Star Wars fans. Face it, you're gonna watch that shit any fucking way.
Damn, no chill.
No matter how trash it is, because you're a Star Wars fan and you can't go without watching every Star Wars movie or series.
Let the record show that Haven's
I feel
venom,
attacked.
Let the record show that Haven's venom is still on point and has no chill after 4 years. God damn. He just went there.
But everybody didn't like the new Star Wars movies. They had a lot of holes in them. But guess what? You still fucking watched it. And, all these actors are not coming back. There's like several actors that are not coming back to the Star Wars thing because they just don't like how it's going. But guess what? They still played in the movies. So if you're going to bitch about it, at least bitch with some dignity. That's all I'm saying. Topic 2. I think it's a good idea that we're putting video games in cars. Because we need something to cull the population of the stupid people. So if you're going to play a video game in your car while driving, that's your own damn fault. Just try to hit the other people in the cars that are playing video games. Leave the bystanders out of it.
No
Damn,
chill.
no
chill.
And let's get on to these controllers. Yeah, they're new. But, it's PlayStation. They're going to try to outsell Xbox. So they're probably going to make them more expensive than the Elite controllers by the time that they really start tinkering with these motherfuckers. You're going to get a regular controller that's probably going to be like $60 to $80. And then they're going to come out with a Pro Series controller that's going to be like $100 to $180. And then they'll probably come out with another controller and be like, oh, get this one. You can customize it. And it's going to be like $200. But that's Sony grabbing for money where they're not making what they used to anyway. So, and don't get me wrong, I used to love Sony. I have PlayStation 2 sitting right across from me right now. But they need to stop being money hungry and start working on their company as a whole and stop taking money from their movie department to support their gaming department.
You said it backwards.
Backwards, forward, it's Sony.
So true.
Topic 4. I'm neither here nor there because I hadn't played it yet. So, go Final Fantasy. Sexism in video games is negative, yes, but you don't acknowledge the fact that women let them get away with it, and some of these women are just as pervy or not more pervy than the guys playing the games.
To be fair, you weren't here for the beginning, but no, when we said sexism, we didn't mean based on any particular sex. We meant sexism as a whole, but acknowledge that it leans in the female favor.
Well, sexism is part of, the culture. You got Japan with all their weird and frilly games. I believe Japan still makes dating games. Like, come on, bro.
They're kind of sort of like the leaders in that genre. Like, internationally, they are the leaders in that genre. So take that how you will.
And, we still have fantasy games where a guy can get a set of plate armor and it covers his entire body, and a girl get a set of plate armor that looks like a bikini. So
yes, we play Dead or Alive sometimes.
I was so talking about Skyrim.
Oh well,
Or Terra.
DOA still in that category of bullshit either way. If it involves smut and women, DOA automatically has a seat at the table. I'm just saying.
Yo.
I'm just saying, doesn't Final Fantasy have a sport fit for Tifa?
A what?
Final Fantasy doesn't have a sport fit for Tifa?
No, that's Resident Evil. The score thing is Resident Evil.
Well, don't get me fucking started on Resident Evil. We'll be here all fucking day. I think we just need to back up as a whole and don't see sex as a driving force behind, hey, I want to go on an adventure, but I want to be half naked doing it. Because if I want to do that, I just go play Saints Row. Because I can be fully naked in that game.
Holy shit, I forgot that.
Preach, brother. Preach.
So second media and transmedia, I do like getting movies that are based off books, but I think that the author needs to be more involved in the process of making that movie, because then you get shit like What's that shit called? Game of
Transformers,
Thrones.
Avatar, Dragon Ball Z, Death Note. Just to name a few.
Damn.
I'll go for the next dog. That's all I'm saying. But you get things like Game of Thrones where they follow the book for so long, and then was just like, fuck it. As soon as you hit the fuck it stage, it's time to stop making media. That's all I'm saying. Because I would love to see more like Azika. I can't say his name right. Azika, he makes Overlord, right? It's an anime. It's amazing anime. But he makes all these other animes too, but they're just like fucking previews for his actual graphic novels. So he'll make a season of anime and then he'll go and complete the books and never come back to the anime. And I'm just like, don't do this to me, dog. Don't do this to me. I need you to finish the anime for me.
You say that, but that's kind of smart because you got to remember, his job is to sell a book, not sell a cartoon. It sucks.
I mean, why can't he sell both?
Because he doesn't get money off of it and he's not in charge of it. He's in charge of the book, not the show.
My hopes and dreams of seeing all these animes that I've started that are part of his are dwindling and dwindling.
It's okay, dog. I was there all throughout the 90s.
Yeah.
And I think that covers my ass whooping of about everybody on this list.
All right, cool. Anybody got any closing statements or want to talk about how the fuck they're dealing with Corona?
I work at Amazon. I deal with Corona by going and sitting right on coronavirus's neck.
Oh, you mean like I do? I literally sometimes go to work and think this is going to be the day.
I go to work and then they be like, yeah, we got one truck, so we're going to do this one truck and then y'all got to find something to do. And I'm just like, still no UPT taken? Going home.
Bro. Literally, it was hard as fuck to even get hours because I was on a flex schedule. But since Corona happened, there's never not something to do. But then they always want people to stay longer. And I took a 60-minute shift, which first off, no one wanted it to exist and they made it anyway. No one wanted it to exist and they made a 60-minute shift anyway because you lose money working for Amazon that way. And now they can't get people to stay because that Rona. In fact, my specific building, we got 2 people who were infected on the exact same day, but only one of them realized it. So then they added 150 supposedly new safety care and bullshit like that, right? Yeah, that's what we're on. I'm just like, look, I'm going to get with this crypto and get my side money because Amazon money is not worth my life.
Yeah, I've already told them I can catch this shit twice and still be going strong, so. Cause I'm built like a Sherman tank.
Okay. Hill, what's quarantine shit like for the rest of them that don't know? Because you're in the military still.
I ain't gotta work, still get paid. Gotta do this stupid ass Zoom shit just to say, hey, I did this, I did that. Here's my email. Yes,
it's a voice chat.
Oh, God. I think I've heard about that. I've heard mostly unpleasant things.
It's shitty. I had to join. My mom had to join one this morning, and she's like, "Can you fix this for me?" And I'm just like, "I guess."
It's an inferior version of Skype.
And
I
Skype
mean,
is
why don't they just
already
get Discord?
garbage.
Because
look, I'd
Discord
love
is
for
too easy.
to get this.
You know how shit works. Discord is too easy. It doesn't matter if it's better. It matters if it's new. Old people hate new shit.
Well, use Skype, damn it.
Skype is worse.
At least I know I can video chat without losing voice the moment I enter. Now, throughout the call, I don't know, but when I start, at least I have video and voice.
Yes.
Okay, so Haven, do you plan on getting 7 remake or no?
Nah, Cloud's not really my favorite character, so when they make a remake with Zidane in it, I'll probably get that.
Not gonna lie,
What game he from?
I wouldn't mind a Final Fantasy 9
It could be kind of cool, yeah.
as long as they skip 8.
Yeah, get it.
What's wrong with 8?
Why do the young people always say that? I literally was waiting for him to say that. I didn't even take my hand off the shift button.
Yes, it's entirely the story.
Look, I'm gonna give you the short version of what my problem is. First and foremost, did you know that you can super play that game without even beating it once? You could literally, from the start, super play that game and have next to no challenge. Your first playthrough?
How?
I'm glad you asked that. Their magic system is so ridiculously convoluted and complicated that it's damn near a 15-minute explanation in game. Not even joking, by the way. Allows you to basically break down anything in game in a format of raw material. Usually the raw material is called source. I think that's even what they call it in Final Fantasy VII regular. I don't see source in remake. What this does is it permanently increases a stat, but you can never go past the cap that's built on the character. Now, if you can farm any item that can give you source, specifically power or stamina source, or maybe defense source, you can literally cap out your strength. You could be level 99 power level at level 20. Also, if you use Zero Bahamut and get Zero Bahamut, the Guardian Force, aka summon early, you know what that means? That means that you gain the ability, once you master Bahamut, to literally turn off random enemy encounters for the whole game.
I thought you got that from the devil.
Okay, you remember when you leave the school and the principal gives you an item, say it's a summon in here, but you know it may take you a while before you can beat it.
Diablos.
Oh yeah, I think Bahamut was supposed to be Diablo or something like that. But anyways, here's the thing: his ultimate ability that he can attach to your character is the ability to turn off random enemy encounters on the world map. So imagine doing every single thing in the game, mission, puzzle, all of that shit, without enemy encounters turned on.
Oh, and by the way, the other thing, normally you'd think this could be a problem in boss fights. Nah, because every single enemy in the game scales to your level.
Also, they don't even explain the actual the final boss's modems and who the fuck they are. They just keep saying it's not Renoa, it's not Renoa's child, and it's not Squall and Renoa's child. So you don't even know what the fuck the deal is with the final boss, and also why your pendant that you gave Renoa has a summon in it, but you can never access that summon. Because the way it works in game, summons cannot be imbued in something without you knowing that they're there. But she already knew the summon was there. She didn't put it in there. Also, if you have Squall, remember, you can automatically trigger your critical attack. You can guarantee it. So if you have Ifrit, and you get Ifrit's maximum summon ability, which is increase all attack damage by 40%, before you hit level 25 or 30, you can do 99999 damage with your critical. Because remember, he boosts up the percentage. He didn't just boost up your percentage of your attack power, he also boosts up the critical attack power.
Yup.
So yeah, the game's problem is that it's so fucking easy. Also, unfortunately, that story's a little bit too animu. If you really stop and think about it. A group of high school kids, nope, stop right there. That's already too animu.
Yeah, pretty much.
Any other Final Fantasy VIII questions? still
Sounds
there?
like nope.
Okay.
I am. I'm good. That just sounds like a very quick play experience.
Unfortunately, and you
With
got to remember, I was 8 when that game. No, I was 7 or 8 when that game came out. I breezed through it so hard that my first playthrough of Final Fantasy VII, you cut it in half, and that's how long Final Fantasy VIII took me. There was no challenge for me. And guess what? I didn't even figure out the source thing my first playthrough. That was like my third. What I figured out was Ifrit mixed with Diablos and Bahamut means that you got characters that can do max damage that the game allows for before they even hit level 30. So literally nothing lived.
Yup.
All right, well, I don't want to ruin your playthrough. Uncle Sam ain't got nothing for you to do except collect that guap. So, hey, you enjoy it, you know. I'm pretty sure you've done whatever you can to get your girlfriend to understand, hey, look, I'm with Uncle Sam, so I can't be around whenever. Corona's not helping things, but I hope it goes well either way.
So it
Now-
kind of sounds like Tales of Vesper, when you don't know that you have to go in and add all your little extra shit in the main menu. And me and my buddy played that entire game without adding any of the extra shit. So we made that game like 30 times harder for ourselves.
To be fair, that's your own damn fault.
Hey, nobody pointed that shit out. I just want you to know.
Me.
It's my
I
first
pointed it
time ever playing
I
a
pointed it
Tales of Vesper.
I pointed it out to you many, many years ago. Because like I told you back then, I was one of those rare breeds of people that got Tales of Vesperia on a 360. So I knew about all that shit. I specifically told you this was in the game. You just didn't remember.
No, because
you also
we
got
hadn't met yet.
I
This is
know.
before
we
I
were
went
talking
to,
about before the game came out in to PlayStation and shit. Remember, I told you even back then on the podcast, you just didn't remember.
No, I'm talking about this is before we met, dog. I before I shipped the basic training, we played this the new Tales game.
Well, then why the fuck you bringing it up like you just got it? They just re-released it. I'm thinking you talking about the re-release.
No, I'm talking about back before I quit the basic training, dog.
Yeah, you
All
should
this
specify.
extra shit. I was just like, yo, it reminds me of this game that we played, and we played it without any of the perks, and it felt like a fucking nightmare.
Oh, by the way, who's all getting Streets of Rage 4?
Might get it.
I don't even know how that's.
there is no might in this sentence. It's a need. It's a necessity now.
Thank you. Dibs on Blaze. But to be fair, there's 4 Blazes. Bro, I actually went and watched, because you know how it is, if I really, really, really like a fucking game, I'll watch the trailer in slow motion. Bro, they gave all the old versions of the characters super moves and the ability to hit somebody that's behind them. So they're completely viable for the whole game.
Shit, damn.
And like nobody caught it but me. Ooh, side note. The game doesn't really explain it, or it's buried in the manual. Level up your luck materia. Luck, don't give a shit about the stat. But what the materia makes happen. The materia boosts up how much luck you can get, right? But here's the thing. Luck is a crit booster. And you can actually have on 2. So you could make it so 100% of your attacks are crit. You want to find the second luck materia if it even is in the game. I don't know. I'm not too sure yet. But I got 1. You want to do it. And if you only got 1, it's really, really effective on Barrett. Especially when you do any of his moves that have rapid fire. Because like 40% of those moves are going to be crit. Also Tifa. But I would say anything goes well with Tifa because I am Tifa's bitch.
Shit, then you combine that with elemental materia into elemental weakness damage.
No, they don't do that. You don't actually get to a point in time in the game where you get a triple link. They only do doubles, and it's kind of annoying. But to be fair, it might just be because there would have been a balancing issue, or because they want to save it for part 2.
The luck up materia doesn't need to be linked though.
No, I'm talking about that other shit you said. That all
Well,
would
yeah,
need to be linked.
elemental. So you get elemental, and say they're weak to fire. So you link fire and elemental, and then equip the luck up. And
Oh yeah, shit that way. Yeah, I didn't think about that, but yeah, fuck, I'm gonna try that now.
of course, that involves knowing what the weaknesses before you go in. So,
Dude,
yeah.
I got 90% of the enemies in this game assessed, and the only
True.
two I don't have is because I haven't fought them yet, which is the post game stuff, which is like Bahamut summon. You know, you got to fight the summons before you can get them. I have to scan him, and I have to scan that weird thing that's in all the games, Marlboro. No, not the cigarette. It's this weird looking little shop of horrors, giant plant thing
It's
with
a
a bunch of
fucking
tentacles.
tentacle rape.
It's a tentacled plant monster thing that's in like all the games. Yeah, fuck that creepy thing. Yeah, I gotta fight those two. And when I fight those two, then I'll have all the scans my first playthrough. What I'm curious about though, and no one can find or has found yet, is if you beat hard mode, do you get any special unlockable? That's what I'm curious about. But yeah, I'm gonna go unlock the missing side quests from my side quest list. And yeah, you guys have fun. I'll catch you guys later. And Mike, I'm pretty sure you was in on the Disney Plus thing, you know, See Me Friday. And I gotta talk to Corey too. I'll catch you later.
Alright, later, dudes.